You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. My name is Arya Whitner, and this is your post-NXT Takeover Houston NXT audio recap for Wednesday, November 22nd, 2017. It is the show that happens only 5 times a year. It is the first episode of NXT after Takeover. And much like every other first episode of NXT after NXT TakeOver, it is a show that features 30 full minutes of skippable material. Let's go through here as I talk slowly to try to increase the time of this episode. What am I kidding? Let's talk at a normal speed, shall we? The show kicked off with our 8th Raw versus SmackDown battle. It took 72 hours, but they had an 8th match. SmackDown trying to tie things up. As a matter of fact, Survivor Series was 4-3 Raw, and so here tonight on NXT, it is Raw's brand new woman wrestler Sonya Deville versus SmackDown's brand new woman wrestler Ruby Riott. Now, before I get the obvious tweets and emails and Facebook messages saying otherwise, of course this match was taped on Saturday. I know this. It was taped 2 days before Sonya debuted and 3 days before Ruby debuted. And who knows if they even had ideas flushed out that far in advance that they would be debuting on Monday and Tuesday. However, I want you to be quiet and let me have my fun. Because if you remember, about 4-ish years ago, I once had to review Cesaro defending the United States title about 3 weeks after he already lost it. So if I can review that and pretend Cesaro is still defending a title he doesn't have, you can pretend that this is an inter-brand match that's going to help declare brand supremacy between Raw and SmackDown. Ironically, though, despite alleged brand loyalty, Sonya is wearing blue, Ruby is wearing red. Someone tell these women they got it backwards. Trying to come up with a backstory of this match was much more fun than the match itself. There's nothing wrong with it, just nothing that you desperately need to go out and watch. Deville clipped Ruby's knee from behind and spent her heat segment working it over. Ruby made her comeback and almost had to tap. Ruby made her comeback, but almost had to tap to both a triangle and a knee bar. However, she held on to pick up the win with a roundhouse kick, which, in my opinion, ties the Raw versus SmackDown tally at 4-4. And I'm not sure when the tiebreaker match is going to be, but I'm sure it's going to happen at some point, right? Now, of course, this being the post-takeover edition of NXT, they spent quite a bit of time with video packages recapping every single match on the show, and they spent quite a bit of time interviewing people from almost every match on the show. They also spent quite a bit of time promoting how they would have exclusive footage from War Games. Now, I watched the entire show. I watched the recap of War Games, and I can tell you that the closest thing they had to exclusive footage was sound bites from fans yelling random stuff during the match. That was literally it. That was the exclusive footage of War Games. And I'm going to recap everything you need to know about all the post-match promos from different people. These are things that you could not have guessed if I just told you the people who were interviewed. You need to know the following information. Nothing. Backstage, for some reason, the Street Profits were partying while standing on a car. That offended Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss. And this confrontation happened in a wind tunnel because due to the wind and the fans screaming, you could not understand a single thing anyone was saying. For some reason, they couldn't retape it. All I got out of it was that Sabatelli and Moss were mad that the Street Profits won their first match. They're going to have a rematch next week, which Nigel McGuinness said they would finally get their chance at wrestling each other, which, again, they just wrestled last week. Would that have been finally their chance to wrestle each other? But, oh well. So, anywho, they'll be wrestling next week, and so will Kairi Sane and Billie Kay be wrestling each other. Fun. Fun, fun, fun. And finally, it was main event time as Johnny Gargano, challenged Pete Dunne for the WWE United Kingdom Championship. I know I say this once every 3 months when he has a match, but Pete Dunne is a star. Why that man is not on Raw or SmackDown right now, I will never know. Although, who knows, if he was, they'd probably find a way to ruin him and make him less awesome. But, he deserves better than to show up on NXT, 3 times a year. I'm sorry, it's true. And so anyway, Gargano was holding his own early as they fought outside the ring until he played to the crowd instead of going for a tornado DDT. When he finally did, Dunne pushed him off and then dropped him with an X-Plex on the ring apron, which, if you might recall, the ring apron is in fact the hardest part of the ring. Dunne spent the next few minutes working on the hand and fingers in a way where it doesn't end up looking cartoonish, like when Marty Scurll does it, for instance. Gargano made his comeback and spent the next few minutes throwing offense with his right hand while trying to massage his left hand, which was injured by Dunne. Gargano used both the slingshot spear and a combination suicide dive / tornado DDT. Gargano eventually locked on the Gargano escape, and Dunne was screwed. This was it for the champ. We're about ready to crown our third WWE UK champ, but Pete Dunne, the valiant champion that he is, the man that he is, he spat out his mouthpiece and began biting the injured fingers of Johnny Gargano, which got the escape. Dunne punched Gargano in the face, but as Gargano fell into the ropes, he sprung back, and while he was springing back, he figured, hey, might as well do something here. He hit a DDT. Suddenly, Gargano realized Dunne's mouthpiece was sitting in the ring. He picked it up, laughed, and threw it aside. He super kicked Dunne for the 1, the 2, and the kick out. The finish saw Dunne counter a slingshot spear with a punch to the face and pick up the win with the bitter end. This was about as good a 10-minute match as you're going to get, and it surely made you wish they had 20 minutes on the main Takeover card, but I'll tell you what, they did a hell of a job with 10. So, after 5 straight days of wrestling, that finally does it from Houston. We're out of Takeover, we're out of Survivor Series weekend. Thank you all for listening, and I'll talk to you again in 7 days.
You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.